Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Music Mondays podcast. I'm your host, Azam Slays. Welcome on in, my friends. Happy motherfucking Monday. Today is January 8th, 2024. How we all doing, my friends? Stacked show for you guys. Really good week. Lots of stuff to talk about. Let's get right into it, man. Loudest, I hope you're well. Welcome on in. Happy Monday. So, let's talk, my friends. So this is episode 155 of the Music Mondays podcast. I'm your host, Tom Slays, and like I said, we have a pretty stacked show for you guys. I have a couple topics that I want to touch on before we get into some reactions and reviews, and then we'll hop into a lot of really good submissions tonight, man. Really good submissions. So, let's talk about it. Let's hear. So we kicked off Monday with episode 154. We'll talk about that in a second. And then Tuesday we actually launched our brand new recruiting flyer. So again, I'll go over some recruiting details later on in the show, but our current recruiting flyer is live right now on all of our social media. If you're interested in joining the Music Monday staff, definitely get in contact with us, and we'll be happy to have that conversation with you. So yeah, that dropped on Tuesday. So definitely go check out the flyer for any details and whatnot for Music Monday's recruiting. Let's see here. So that takes us to Thursday, because Wednesday SoundCloud Sunday submissions open, and Thursday we actually had a brand new YouTube upload go live. Last week we spoke about Music Mondays in 2024. So for those of you that missed it on the show, last week I gave a little bit of a preview of quarter one of 2024 Music Mondays and things that we have planned here on the show. So that YouTube upload is live right now, so definitely go check that out, and definitely go show that some love, of course. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because now we're on the road to 250 subaroonies. That's actually fucking crazy. So we actually hit 240 relatively recently. I believe we hit it over the last week or so, and over the weekend. So huge shout out to all you guys that are subscribed to the Music Mondays channel. You guys are amazing. But yeah, road to 250, man. So definitely go check out that recent upload and go show that some love. Let's see here. So that was Thursday. We're gonna take us into Friday. So Friday, we dropped a brand new article by the homie Young J. Now, Young J was recently added to the Music Monday staff team in the first week of January, actually. So huge shout out to Young J, man. But they put out their first article, and it's actually a wonderful piece reviewing a track we actually reacted to. I think it was in the first week of January from Zeph and the Tomorrow People. So definitely go check that out, and huge shout out to Young J, man. That's a wonderful first piece. I'm definitely excited to see what Jay does in 2024 in terms of writing. Definitely excited. So that takes us all the way to Saturday, my friends, and that means episode 154 of the Music Mondays podcast is live on all platforms, wherever you listen to us, whether that be Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, things like that. And of course, the full episode is available on YouTube. So huge shout out to everybody that submitted to episode 154. Everybody that tuned in and showed love, you guys are amazing. Thank you. So definitely go show that some love, and if you already have, appreciate you. And yeah, like I said, sub to the channel, man, because now road to 250. We are about halfway to 500, man. So fucking get it. So that was Saturday. Will take us into Sunday, and that means SoundCloud Sunday is live. SoundCloud Sunday Volume 116 is available on all of our socials and, of course, our SoundCloud. Definitely go check that out and go show that some love. That was curated by myself and Music Monday staff curator Waterfalls. So really wonderful addition to SoundCloud Sunday, man. That's like I always talk about it so much here on the show, but that's 100% like one of my favorite content pieces from Music Mondays, and I'm definitely excited to get into Spotify and other platforms. But for the time being, per usual, definitely go check out SoundCloud Sunday, and definitely go share the playlist. Share it with your friends, share it with people that might not be aware of independent and underground music. Just show it off to people, man. And of course, if you got placed in SoundCloud Sunday, definitely go show that some love. And huge shout out again to everybody that submitted. So as far as SoundCloud Sunday goes, submissions open every single Wednesday. So make sure you follow us on socials and stay up to date for when SoundCloud Sunday submissions open. And of course, submissions close when the playlist officially drops. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. And huge shout out to Waterfalls for curating that with me. So that takes us all the way to today, actually. So January 8th, 2024. Episode 155, man. So lots of stuff to talk about here. Lots of stuff to talk about. But mainly, before we get into our discussion segment here, I want to talk about a couple things that are coming up on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. So, of course, expect a couple of written pieces going up this week. I have the staff working very hard on In Case You Missed It monthly. And we're going to be revamping the website as well. Trying to get some fresh looks in there now that our socials are kind of refreshed for 2024 and things like that. So expect some minor updates. And, of course, a lot of the major projects that we spoke about last week, Cyberfest 2, merch drops, social revamps, things like that, are all broken down in detail. So definitely go check out that drop if you're interested in what we're working on for the next couple months. But yeah, expect a pretty stacked week this week, 100%. Just because we have a lot of content that we need to not only get out but also catch up on. So expect a a really good update week, 100%. So like I said, before we get into our discussion segment, we are going to talk about two things per usual. Music Mondays is recruiting. I spoke about our recent recruiting flyer just a few minutes ago, but we are recruiting and we are looking for writers, journalists, designers, curators, short form content creators, people that want to do content in general. If you're interested in any of those roles, definitely get in contact with us and we'll be happy to have a conversation with you. We actually have a updated guide on our YouTube channel, kind of breaking down all those roles and really why they're so crucial to Music Mondays, and really, what you'll be doing in each role. So we have a pretty detailed guide for that out right now on our channel, so definitely go check that out if you're interested. And of course, just send us a message, man, because we'll be happy to have that conversation with you. Or just send us an email. Resume, obviously preferred, but you don't need a resume. We'll be happy to show kind of newer creators the ropes, if you will. So Music Mondays is recruiting right now for sure. So that's that. I would say one other thing is Music Mondays is also on the hunt for SoundCloud exclusives. We are interested in hosting your unreleased SoundCloud tracks and promoting them for free across all of our socials. We're only interested in the SoundCloud exclusive, so if you're interested in uploading it to all stores, or you plan on doing a music video, things like that, that's fine. We're only interested in the SoundCloud exclusive upload, just to take care of our fans over there and our supporters, and really promote artists in like a different way, and utilize pretty much everything that we do on SoundCloud. So if you're interested in that, definitely get in contact with us. And again, we'll be happy to have that conversation with you, because like I said, completely free. We're definitely not interested in any kind of crazier projects at the moment. So feel free to let us know for sure. But that also goes for YouTube uploads. So if you're interested in getting a music video, a visual, a lyric video, something like that, hosted on the Music Mondays YouTube channel of over 240 subscribers, definitely let us know. Get in contact with us, and we'll be happy to promote you for free and get your video hosted. And of course, we're only interested in unreleased versions, so whatever you submit, make sure it's unreleased, and Music Mondays gets to host it, and we'll be happy to promote you. So I think that's about it as far as like regular stuff goes. There's a couple of other minor things that we'll be talking about in the coming weeks, but those are two things that we always have to fire off at the start of each show. Vac, what's good? I hope you're well. Welcome on in. Happy Monday, my friend. Howdy. So let's talk discussion segment here. So it's been a while since we've had a chance to really break things down, right? Last year we did a lot of tips and tricks videos, we did a lot of Music Mondays exclusives, we did a lot of really interesting pieces of content, right? So we're going to start getting back into a lot of that and really getting some tips and tricks videos out for the moment for sure. Apple, what's good? I hope you're well. Welcome on it. Happy Monday. Um, so we've done a lot of lighter segments. We've done segments on, how to pick your cover art, how to avoid fake playlists, um, content schedules, how to stay motivated. We've done a lot of really good tips and tricks segments in 2023. So I'm definitely excited to get started on that this year. And I figured we'll kind of just start simple. So today's topic, social media. And what are we going to talk about? Social media. I'm going to tell you. So, I had this idea in the shower earlier today. Um, Heading into the new year, I feel like social media is a bit of an gray area right now. There was a lot of hype last year around new platforms like Threads and Blue Sky, and people were kind of not really like aware of what to do or how to move or things like that. People were just kind of in limbo. And what better way to kind of kick off the year than to talk about which social medias you should be using in 2024? So I want to preface this by saying you should be using all social media in 2024, okay? Um, but when it comes to the ones that you absolutely should be focusing on, we're gonna narrow it down to three. But like I said, I want to preface this by saying you should be on all socials all the time. Um, but we're gonna talk about the top three beneficial ones to kind of kick off your 2024 and really kind of talk about why they matter and why you should be on all of them regardless. I still haven't touched Threads. Yeah, we'll talk about Threads here in a second for sure. Mark, what's good? Hope you're well. Welcome on in. Um, so yeah, top three. I kind of narrowed it down here, and I think you guys are going to be aware of what the number one is. And the number one social media you should be using in 2024 is 100% TikTok. It's no question that not only just based off of numbers, right? That has the largest user base in all of the globe. Um, but it's one of those that doesn't really have too shady of an algorithm. The algorithm's rather easy to figure out, and you could really get a lot of free exposure on something like TikTok. Now, don't get me wrong, TikTok definitely has its caveats and its downsides, for sure. For instance, TikTok won't really push a lot of non facial content to the For You page. So, for instance, if you're not showing your face on a lot of your videos, there's probably a lower chance that a lot of your stuff is not going to do numbers, right? You're going to be stuck in the 200 view club. Sometimes you might get like 2K, but it's very rare that you see something get over like 10,000 views and, a couple thousand likes that doesn't have anybody's face in it. It usually has to be like a green screen video or, vlog style or, maybe like a cooking video or even just like comedy videos, things like that. You'll see a lot of things go viral like that, but you won't see a lot of snippets or stuff that doesn't really have like anyone's face in it. So TikTok's a very like media, in your face centered platform, but still nonetheless that's 100% the largest user base right now in 2024 and is pretty much free exposure because that's one of the only platforms that's not exactly pay to play. They're slowly rolling back how easy it is to go viral, but as of right now when this video is being recorded, um it's still relatively the same, right? Something like Instagram and a lot of other platforms might be way more pay to play kind of leaning, but TikTok is not. You could create a brand new account right now and have one video go stupid viral. For sure you could. And there aren't many platforms out there like that. So, TikTok, number one, for sure. So number two, this is one where I kind of had like a weird, like I couldn't really decide why number two was number two, but number two is 100% Instagram, as much as I hate to say it. Because I come from a time in like early 2016, 17, 2018-ish, when Instagram was still very much easier to not only grow an account, but also once again get exposed to the explore feed, get exposed to more numbers, get exposed to a new audience. But as time went on, the pandemic happened, things like that. Instagram has changed a lot, right? And they've been heavily leaning towards Reels, much like TikTok, because obviously TikTok completely took over the market. So Instagram was kind of cornered, and they really focused on regular media, right, videos and pictures, but they didn't really focus on like a mobile viewing, right? So that's why Reels got created, the Reels tab got created, and short form content kind of took over on Instagram, which kind of sucked, right? Because Instagram was a very like personal platform. Um, but at the same time, it's still there. It's still definitely there, 100%. You could still, create an Instagram account, have really good kind of well edited photos and videos, and still kind of curate content over there and curate an audience, no doubt. But again, it's very much, leaning towards reels and short form content, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's definitely right up there as far as user base and exposure goes, right? Because you still see people do a lot of numbers on Instagram. You still see newer creators kind of uh prove that newer methods kind of work, right? I think the thing with Instagram that a lot of people don't understand is that like people think they're like shadow banned or this, that, and the third. A lot of the older accounts from like 2018 and previous really got like shoved to the corner. You know what I mean? It's almost like they have brand new accounts now because you were used to like the way that you used to post. You used to post photos and carousels and regular stuff, and they used to do well. Well, suddenly somewhere along the line, post pandemic, it changed, and you could post photos right now, and it's not going to do half of what they used to do 2, 3 years ago. And you didn't lose any followers, right? And your account's not dead. You're not shadow banned. So what's the problem? It's reels. The only thing that really gets posted and pushed in not only like your regular feeds on Instagram, but also on your explore feeds are going to be reels, right? Short form content is the name of the game right now, which really blows. But it really only blows for people that like don't like short form content, right? People who don't like to edit, people who don't like filming it, etc., etc. Because I don't think it's the worst possible thing. But with that said, Instagram definitely has a more um like, I don't want to say diverse population, but Instagram is easier with subcultures. Like, it's a lot easier to find your subculture on Instagram than it is on TikTok. So that's why it kind of came in for number 2 for me, because it's still really good, but it's not as big as TikTok. So, for instance, on Instagram, you could really find, like an alternative hip hop subculture, an indie subculture, a pop subculture, a digital subculture, a video game subculture, like really fast on Instagram. And I think that's like a big difference between Instagram and something like TikTok. Because TikTok, you could have like Joe Blow from South Carolina commenting on your music, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, this fucking sucks, dick," and da 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 da, and you're just like, "Dude, how the fuck do you even find my video?" So that's like why TikTok is good and bad, right? Because you're gonna find people that are like seeing your content that are really just being shown your content, right? Like it doesn't matter if they, like your sort of niche. It doesn't matter if they like what you post, da 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 da. Like you'll end up on people's feeds that, you know, maybe aren't even in like your subculture. So that's the thing with TikTok. It's a positive, right? Because you can be exposed to new audiences, but it's also a negative because a lot of the times you'll be put in places where you don't really belong. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's a little bit harder to like slide into your niche. Whereas on Instagram, it's pretty easy to find like your subculture for sure. So TikTok number 1, Instagram number 2. What's the third? Um, so you should be always be posting on all 2 of those, but really all 3 of these. The third that I think you should really be caring about in 2024 right now, as far as like pure algorithms and like fairness goes, YouTube. And you might think YouTube isn't really like a social media, and you're right, it's really not. But when it comes down to where YouTube has been shifting their direction, a lot of the small changes, right? Think of the community tab. Think of how they've been pushing YouTube Shorts. It's slowly becoming more and more of like a community-centered platform than it is like just a media platform for watching videos, right? Even live streaming, right? Like they've been kind of dabbling in that. I hear this year they're going to be getting rid of Google Podcasts and launching YouTube Podcasts, which is also going to be pretty crazy. So there's a lot of interesting things on YouTube that are going to be coming up that you should keep your eyes on, but you should also be taking advantage of how their algorithm works. So, um, for instance, the For You page and kind of the Explore page and like the recommended page is what they call it on YouTube, is very hot right now. Is very, very fucking hot. Like you'll be recommended 13 view videos. You'll be recommended some crazy shit that you've never even seen before. But if you pay attention to what you're being recommended, like for instance on my channel, I'll still be recommended like new artists that I've never heard of. You know, they'll just upload a song, and just because I watch a lot of, you know, videos and things like that on my channel, it's kind of figured out my niche, and I noticed that I'm being shown videos that are very low views but also like really like relevant to like what I watch. So the YouTube algorithm right now is really fucking solid for people that want to be posting on there, and it doesn't even really necessarily need to be music. I definitely think this is for somebody that wants to do any type of YouTube content. You know, for instance, gaming kind of uploads have been king on YouTube for so long. But even now, like I've seen channels with like less than 100 subscribers get videos that nail the algorithm that get 1K, 2K, 10K. And it's like, how the fuck did that happen? How did you slam the algorithm like that hard? And it's because they were consistently uploading, they hit the upload at the right time, and they're probably doing their video details correctly, right? So they're adding descriptions, they're doing tags, they're doing thumbnails, they're doing the whole nine, and it's really starting to work out for smaller channels. So I don't really think it's really about YouTube Shorts on YouTube. I don't think that's really like redeemable right now. Um, just because I've seen, you know, people testify that they've like created channels just for shorts, and it hasn't really been that beneficial for their main channel, right? So if you dedicate yourself to YouTube Shorts, I don't think that's really going to be beneficial for you. I think long form content is still going to be king on YouTube. YouTube Shorts are just a way to like supplement that long form content. So, for instance, you want to put your teasers on YouTube Shorts, right, for like a documentary or maybe a music video or something like that. Those are what you want to be uploading on YouTube Shorts. You don't want to like dedicate your time to YouTube Shorts. Make sure you're uploading your full albums to YouTube. Make sure you're uploading your visuals to YouTube, your single audio, your documentaries, your vlogs, your interviews, whatever else. You know what I mean? Because I still am pretty confident that long form content on YouTube is pretty king. Don't get me wrong, there's still a high chance that you could have a short completely pop off, but what it does for your channel and traffic wise, I don't necessarily think that it really means that your channel's about to blow, for sure. I definitely think that you need the long form content to supplement the short form content 100%. Because if people really wanted to just go scroll short form content, like some people like YouTube shorts, but most of most of the population is on TikTok for their short form content. YouTube shorts is just a way to kind of, you know, spam yourself into the algorithm while not being able to like fully dedicate yourself over there. There's a very like specific line that you want to ride when it comes to YouTube and YouTube Shorts. But YouTube definitely takes the cake for number 3. And all of these choices are based off of like pure honest algorithms. Um, these are the ones that you really don't have to pay to play for. These are the ones that you really can get like at least free exposure on and be exposed to a new audience. Um, and you know, if you're popping on Facebook or if you're popping on Twitter or if you're popping on Tumblr, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that those aren't popping. This is more in the mindset of like a new artist or somebody who doesn't really have that big of a following yet. Where should they focus? Where should I put my effort? First things first, man, you should be on all socials regardless, right? You should be on Twitter, you should be on Threads, you should be on Tumblr, you should be on Facebook, you should be on all of them 100%, because there's going to be a different audience on each platform for you, for sure. But, you know, those 3 are going to be the ones to kind of see a lot of natural traction when it comes to 2024. Um, you know, because you still have things like Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky that are like way more intimate and way more easier to update, and you can really like, um, you can really garner like a lot of good engagement with supporters through those platforms, right? Because not a lot of these other platforms that I mentioned make it as easy to talk to people. Even Instagram, right? Like Instagram comments and DMs aren't exactly what, maybe Twitter DMs or Twitter threads are, or threads the platform itself, right? I still think those are like king in terms of like natural engagement and like being intimate and really engaging with your supporters and people that you enjoy as well. So that's why I say you need to be on all socials, right? Because there's an audience for you on every single one of them. It just depends on like how hard you go on each, right? Because you're gonna find people that go super hard on TikTok, but you know they don't put as much effort into X, Y, or Z. But you know maybe they should, right? Like if you ever run into a brick wall, that's a really great way to look at it. And you're like, damn, like maybe I'll try X, Y, or Z. Like, don't really switch it up too much because you still need to be everywhere at all times, regardless. Like, no matter what your personal top three are, I still think that you should be everywhere regardless. It really doesn't matter. Um, but heading into the new year, short form content and long form content when it comes to media are definitely going to be a big play for sure. And then you can use platforms like Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky to really like supplement that content, right? I still think you should be promoting on there. You should be active on there. You should be engaging on there. And yeah, yeah, I think that about caps it off for sure. I'd read that for Threads, whatever you post can become Threads property and they use it for themselves. So anything not true made me hesitant. Well, I mean, realistically, that's like every social media, right? Like that's realistically every single social media. Like the second you post on it, like technically it is their content, but it's only to a certain degree, right? Like if it's something that you created, you're still gonna own the copyright, which means that whole area can get really gray. But yes and no. You know what I mean? Because you could say the same thing for Instagram. Instagram has the same policy. You know what I mean? So I believe TikTok does as well, but it's really not a matter of them owning the content. It's more so you having your shit in line. So for instance, if you know for a fact that you own something and you're posting it everywhere, you're fine. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be very rare for a platform like that to like outright kind of like soft steal someone's content and not have them be aware of it. You know what I mean? That's a thing there. Um and even if so, like that's a really big gray area in terms of legality, right? Because if you own a copyright and it has X, Y, or Z terms on it, or even just like the basic copyright. Like the second you post anything on the internet, it's pretty much copyrighted. Even if you don't have like something like an LLC, it's still yours. You know what I mean? That's why like song takedowns, for instance, you don't necessarily need to copyright a song, but if somebody copyrights your song and says, "Hey, that's my song," and you're like, "No, I have the project file right here," and Spotify's like, "Okay, no problem. Like it's your song." That's kind of like the case there as to where it's just like, okay, like you can't really do that. But I haven't really read of any cases where somebody legitimately had that happen to them. It's definitely like in the terms and conditions for sure. But since that whole conversation was a thing, I have yet to see anybody kind of be like, da 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 da, this happened to me here. Because a lot of like those major platforms, they want to do it right. You know what I mean? Like they really want to do it right. They don't want to have any problems just as much as we don't want to have any problems. You know what I mean? So if they create an insane ad, right, with your music and they go and put it out without your permission, 100% if they got slapped with like a lawyer email or a DMCA takedown, they would either A comply or just get the rights for it. You know what I mean? But I can't even really see that happening because these companies are way too big to like pull some sneaky shit like that, especially for like how easy things go viral. Like people got to be realistic with that kind of thing, right? Like I definitely get why people want to protect shit like that, but it's like you're never going to be able to like post anything at all if you think like that. You know what I mean? Like the other day, like I saw on Reddit, somebody was curious on how they could prevent people from like saving photos on their website. They were like, how could I stop somebody from saving my photos and just right clicking? And it's just like you really can't. You can't. Like that's like a part of the internet, you know what I mean? But the next step to that is if somebody were to actually like take your content and try to like pass it off as their own, like say Music Mondays, right? For instance, say somebody took the Music Mondays logo and tried to go do what we do. it's quite literally obvious that we were here first and you stole the logo. You know what I mean? Like it's very obvious that you're not getting away with that. You're just not getting away with that. So if somebody wanted to, uh, take your art and post it somewhere, or do this or do that, like you 100% are in the right. You know what I mean? It's clearly yours. You clearly posted it first. You have the project files. Da 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 da. Whatever. You know what I mean? So you can't really be super cautious when it comes to posting your work online because one, you should be keeping track of it, and two, anybody who does that is literally like very, very stupid. Very stupid because that's one thing I definitely have seen is stolen content get taken down really fast. And it doesn't really matter what it is. You know what I mean? It could be art, could be music, could be a YouTube video, could be anything. Like that's one thing that these companies will not play about is copyright shit for sure. That's a fact. So for anybody out there that is kind of worried about that, because I've definitely seen that like become a conversation for quite a while. You know what I mean? How do I protect my art? X, Y, or Z. Like, one, just keep track of it, and two, make sure you protect yourself. You know what I mean? But don't be afraid to like post your stuff because somebody's gonna steal it or X, Y, or Z. No, no. As long as you have your ducks in a row and know where you're kind of like leaving a trail, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? You'll 100% be fine. And most stuff is copyrighted right off the rip. You know what I mean? You do have rights to a basic copyright. Like you don't even need to file for a copyright. Like as soon as you create something and post it, it's essentially yours. So as long as you can prove it to a certain degree. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. You know what I mean? Because I think getting your art and music and content out is more important than protecting it. Because I think protecting it can hurt yourself in like the long run. You know what I mean? So um and not like protecting it in the regular way. I just think that like if you are overprotective, you'll end up not releasing anything and you'll run into a lot of roadblocks and da 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 da. Like people just want the art, man. And like there are scumbags in this world, but you got to be a real special scumbag to steal shit. For sure you do. So again, just keep your eyes peeled, always give yourself a quick Google or some shit like that, you know what I mean? And keep your stuff in line and don't be afraid to spam your stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? 2024 is definitely everyone's year, and anybody who wants to make it their year can, right? They can smash all their goals. They can go absolutely fucking crazy. Like it's all on you, man. So yeah, to cap this conversation off, top three socials going into 2024. Realistically, all of them. You should be on all of them, but three that you can focus on if you don't have an audience or you're kind of stuck in limbo. Without a doubt, TikTok is number one. Instagram is your number two, and YouTube is your number three. Um, so yeah, that'll be uploaded on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. Definitely like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe, all that good stuff. I think we're 10 subs away from 250 at the time of this recording. So subscribe to the channel, man. We upload 2 times a week. Let's get it, baby. So yeah, man. The Insomniac League, right? Yeah, perfect example. Yep, 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 yep. So that was definitely a subject that I wanted to dive into a little bit as far as something that I thought would be useful for everybody that wasn't really like too intense, you know. But yeah, you guys know the drill, man. Let's pop open to some reactions and reviews, man. Let's have a little conversation here. So that's that. Let's see what we got here for tonight. You guys know the drill, but if you don't and you're new here, tweets will always be in the same format, and they'll always read artists and creative submissions open for live reviews on Music Mondays, live on January 8th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/sonplays, which is here and now. If you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, and digital creation, drop your links and portfolios below. All art forms are welcome. 4-hour show limit, must be following Music Mondays on Twitter to be eligible. Patreon subscribers, submissions played first each week. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. The only difference for each week's tweet is going to be the date. So obviously for next week, I believe next week is going to be the 15th. So if you're interested in submitting for next week's show, just look for the 15th and drop it under the thread, and you'll be good to go. But per usual, contrary to our name, Music Mondays, we've reacted to everything here on the show, from music, instrumentals, artwork, photos, fashion, merch, designs, YouTube edits, shorts, you name it, we've reacted to it. So if you're a creator out there, or you're a musician, you're an artist, and you want to drop anything for Music Mondays, or you'd like to have us react to it, feel free. Because again, contrary to our name, we want to give everybody a chance to really have themselves showcased here on Music Mondays, because a lot of independent and underground creators are multi-talented. A lot of people who are producers also create cover art. A lot of people who create cover art are also artists. A lot of people who are engineers are also producers. You know what I mean? So a lot of folks are multi-talented, so that's why we do that. So, and of course, for our show limit, that might be decreased down to 3 relatively soon here. But we'll talk about that in the future. But for right now, the 4-hour show limit stays. Of course, just to make the show a little bit more palatable for everybody to watch back and everybody to enjoy live. And of course, we are a weekly live show. We are one of the only weekly live shows. I think there's only like 2 or 3 of us out here that are doing weekly shows, man. So just to leave a little bit of pressure on the staff and things like that, that's why we have the 4-hour show limit in place. And of course, it makes the shows a little bit more palatable to watch back, right? You know, you could even argue that a 4-hour show is a little bit more intense to watch back for sure, but it's a little bit easier to swallow compared to like our 5, 6, 7, 8-hour shows back in like 2022 and 2023. So that's the reason for that. And of course, submissions are free. They always have been. They always will be. But you must be following Music Mondays on Twitter to be eligible. Not only to help grow our platform and help grow our community and spread our message, but you also gain access to a wonderful community of creators. And of course, it just pays respect to everybody else that does submit to the show and waits for their submissions to be reacted to each week. And last but not least, Patreon subscribers' submissions played first each week. So if you're part of the Music Mondays Patreon and if you're currently pledged, we will be playing your submissions here on the show every single week first before anybody else. Because if you're a member of the Music Mondays Patreon, you'll gain access to what's called the Music Mondays Fast Pass, which for the duration that you're pledged, you'll be able to have your submissions played first here on the show every single week. And of course, there's multiple perks over there on the Music Mondays Patreon, man. We got 3 tiers over there of wonderful stuff. And we definitely want to have you guys involved. And we're going to have something really awesome planned for all our Patreons really soon in 2024. So stay tuned. But that's about it, my friends. I think the only other thing that I got to mention here is submissions close a couple hours before the show starts, depending on how many submissions that we have. So just keep that in mind before you submit. You know, you have about a week to submit anyway, so it's not really like you're strapped on time. But whenever you see the show live, that means submissions are probably closed. And that's just for us to get a head count, and we are a live show, so we like to keep things free flow, just so we don't have delayed submissions and keep things in order. So that's that. That's about all the details that we have for the Music Mondays podcast, my friends. If you're ever interested in anything else, or you have any questions or concerns about the show, feel free to let us know, and we'll be happy to have a talk with you. Working on some stuff, might have something for you in the future. I'm definitely down, Apple. Feel free, let us know anytime, my friend, anytime. But let's scroll down here, and let's see if we have any Music Mondays Patrons for tonight. Because I know we have a good chunk of submissions. Okay, wait, we got Jordan up in this bitch. Okay, so that's 1 Patreon. Oh yeah, okay. Nah, it looks like the regular suspects, some first time submissions. Tonight's gonna be good, chat. Tonight's gonna be good. All right. So, first on our list and our Patreon of the night, homie Jordan, aka Jordan Andrew. Now, they submitted Dead Lighters, Apartment Jam number 5. For those of you that don't know, Jordan Andrew is a very talented alternative vocalist, producer, and all-around artist. And Apartment Jam is something that we've reacted to multiple times here on the show, right? I think we've reacted to at least 3 or 4 of them. I don't know if we've gotten all of them. I think we have, maybe. I think we have. But regardless, this is Apartment Jam number 5, and this is a really great concept. So for those of you that are new to it, strap in, because I think this is a really, really fun piece of content here, for sure. So, pop this open, a new tab. Let's see what we got here. Pause right quick. Get a little quality bump. Volume bump. Alright. Let's get into it. Jordan Andrew, aka Jordan, Deadlighters, Parma Jam number 5. Let's go.
Hello. Deadlighters, Apartment Jam 5.
Yep.
Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and all
Mm-hmm.
that jazz. And let's go.
Yep.
This is crazy. Mm-hmm. Lots of love in the chat, man. Mm-mm-mm.
First take.
Yeah.
First take. Oh my.
Cool. Thank you guys, and just yeah,
See
man.
our stuff.
Go watch and learn and
Watch it and learn it and play the shit, man.
to create more.
Make more creative junk.
Yeah.
.com.
.com.
Check it out.
Yes, yes. Oh, the outro's gas. The outro's gas. See, that's why I said this concept is like one of my favorites, man, because it's just like, come on, you know, like you don't see much more shit like this anymore when it comes down to like when it comes down to like pure underground creativity. Like you really don't. You really don't. And that's some good gas right there by Alpha Productions in the chat for sure. That's some good gas. That's definitely some good gas. But let's break this down, my friends. Let's talk about it. Let's have a little chat. Let's see what we got here. So, we're gonna talk about two things because obviously no vocals. So we are gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about the visual for Apartment Jam number 5, aka Apartment Jam number 5. So, let's talk instrumental. So these two are so talented when it comes down to just a pure production standpoint. Not only individually, but I think together as a duo. This is one of my favorites that's come along over the last like couple years. I definitely have a couple more when I think of duos, but this is a great duo. That kind of just pops in my head. You know what I mean? This is definitely like a really good, like well-oiled machine when it comes down to creating. No doubt, no doubt. They just work so naturally together. It seems. And I think Apartment Jam kind of shines like a lot more light on that. But we're talking about three things, or two things, like I said. We're talking about the instrumental, and we're talking about the visual for Apartment Jam. So let's talk mix. The mix is actually really fucking great, especially when it comes down to like these Apartment Jams, right? Even the Apartment Jams, I haven't had any discrepancies or gripes with the mix at all. Especially with it being more like a slightly like unconventional piece of content, right? Because it's not really like a live piece, but it's not really like a recorded piece. It's like somewhat of a mix of both. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to the mix, I've noticed that almost all the Apartment Jams, if not all of them, have a really solid, well-oiled mix. Nothing clashing, nothing like too overdone, but it still sounds natural. It still sounds very much like just where it needs to be, but very level as well. Like very level. Not too loud, but not too low. It's hitting the mark for sure. So mix is on point. Instrumental Shining Star. So the fact that this is a first take is actually really fucking crazy. I think that's one of my favorite parts about this too, is like first take, like holy shit. Um but I love them both in this. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it's really hard to choose which melody, but I think the other thing that I like about this is the structure and how it progresses. So I'm kind of torn between the two, right? Because we have two really solid melodies here, but the progression of it all is really where it's like you have this like soulful piece. Like it's filled with life. I think that's why I like the progression so much is because like even without the visual, I feel like if you were to listen to this, like, you know, while you're cleaning your crib, you know, doing X, Y, or Z, like you'd be like, holy shit. So it's one of those that kind of like has a lot of like power behind it as far as like emotion. And even just for being an instrumental, no doubt. Um so probably the structure for me, but the melodies are like right behind it, 100%. But the structure and the way that this progresses is just like, man, it's such an enjoyable listen from start to finish. I think that's why structure and the progression's like really important. Um, so instrumental very solid, but let's talk a little bit about Apartment Jam, the concept, and Apartment Jam number 5 more specifically. Um, so the jams themselves as a piece of content is super flexible because we've seen Jordan and Deadlighters and Make More Creative Junk like as a whole really bounce around from content when it comes down to um the jam concept. And I think where they're going now into 2024 has only gotten even better. Like if you go back and watch the first jam that they had ever posted, I think that's a real like I bet if you go watch it back, you could probably find me saying that this is one of the coolest concepts I've seen in a long time because it is. But the fact that they've only like progressed it more with more editing and more effort and more chops and more this and more that, like you can see a real wonderful concept here. And that's what I love about this is it's very personal and intimate, but it still doesn't leave out too much of the music, right? Because I feel like sometimes when people go for like different types of content or media, they tend to let something else suffer. But I found that Dead Lighters really took all the concepts and really just mashed them together, right? Because you still get your music out of this, but you get a more like intimate, almost vlog like style edit here. Because it's not necessarily like a visual, like you could call it a visual, definitely, but it's almost like a vlog style kind of edit, but it's very personal. And I think that's why I've always loved the concept. Just because there's almost nobody doing shit like this out here. At least not under my radar. You know what I mean? Like, and if they do, they're definitely already like discovered. You know what I mean? So, and you can even see Apartment Jam 3 right there on the recommended. You know what I mean? Which we've definitely reacted to. Like, that's kind of where I'm talking about as to where it's just like the concept itself is great, but seeing it grow is even cooler. I think that's what I love about this. So I'm really excited for these two to like push the bar when it comes down to this. Like, even just like going out and like, because I think the woods one was one of my favorites. I think doing more outside would be cool. Obviously, it's like the middle of fucking winter right now, but like they're very good at thinking outside the box. So I have no doubt in my mind that they're gonna come up with something else that's gonna be like really easy to do, but it's not like, you know, kind of whack. Like they're definitely gonna keep pushing the bar, and even just using like the apartment itself is like such a great concept. Like it's a great concept. Even just like switching angles and even like comparing it again to Apartment Jam 3, like all the angles are different here. Like the style's completely different, the POVs are different, so they could keep switching it up. And I have a feeling this is gonna be a piece that they're gonna look back on and not only be really proud, but I think once this gets exposed to the right audience, a lot of people are going to love this, no doubt. Honestly, I really enjoyed the whole setup. I agree. I agree. Like there hasn't been one of these that has been, you know, kind of off-putting or anything like that. Like this is just an all-around great concept to me, for sure. So, well done, my friends. Well done. Just to give a quick shining star, though, I would say that the new angles, and how the setup is definitely the shining star, and of course the editing as well, right? I like as the jams go on, you'll find that they're more and more edited, and I think that's a great thing. Just to put a little bit more of like elbow grease in there, and between the editing and the new angles, I definitely think they killed it for sure. So, well done, my friends. Well done. Make sure you go sub to the Make More Creative Junk channel. They're 3 subs away from 30. And of course, make sure you follow Jordan and Andrew on Twitter. They are 7 followers away from 370. Go show Jordan some love on the bird, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 250 subscribers. Finally, we are 10 away, man. We are 10 subbies away. That's crazy. From 250. So, if you haven't subbed, definitely go sub to the channel. But if you already have, thank you, because we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there. So we'll show these artists and the channel some love. But let's get it, baby. So that was our first and only Patreon of the night. So huge shout out to Jordan. Thank you so much for the submission. We got Ree in the chat. Let's get it, Ree. I hope you're well. Let's fucking go. Happy Monday. So we're gonna hop right into the rest of the community submissions. And we got the homie Pooh up first, and they submitted the hollows, because for those of you that was here last week, Pooh submitted 2 tracks and we reacted to the first. This is the second. Now this is a very talented hip-hop artist and vocalist. Let's see what we got here. So we got a link to everything. Let's go with SoundCloud just cuz, man. Let's go with SoundCloud. Go good old Cloudy boy here. I'm down. So 2 months ago, not super new, but not super old whatsoever. Just a lyrical showcase freestyle flea market. Flea market. The flea market is good. That's good. All right, let's get it. Pooh, the hollows. Let's go.
I mean, so average. Lyrically, I gotta be one of the best.
Flea market.
Nobody ever heard of me. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Grew up with a lot of influences. Got into incidents and shit that made me relentless. Thank God I never caught a sentence. Saw the ball while you warm the benches. In the trenches, all the war history, just a way for celebrity to get mentioned. I cut tension, verbal sway, oral suspension. I'm medicine, dressed in beef and broccoli with a Letterman. 39 now a veteran. When the fuck you gonna let him in? Don't let him win. Artist formerly known as sin. Did some things, shows and ring. Grand theft, fingerprints on your bins. Snitches, snakes and cake, no friends. Taking pictures with the lens. Contemplating suicide, how it ends. Coward men, no rebels with no rules like Howard said. Mix it up with powdered red till I rise again like I'm getting out of bed. I'm out of breath until I'm out of debt. Bet, let me just fucking rest. Fuck the rest. I rap like I'm the fucking best. Feel the bass in my fucking chest. Feeling funky fresh. My escape, how I run from the fucking stress. Is he nice? Can't say no when it's a fucking yes. Fuck you. Have a nice day and God bless.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep spitting for y'all though. A whole nother fucking verse. No hope, no none.
A whole verse.
Lyrical showcase.
Holy shit.
Motherfuckers. What? It's coming. Fucking bananas. Hit him again. Here it goes. Hey, yo. Damn, bro. I send you from a Lambo to an Ambo when I pop up like Rambo. So let your mans know, let your fans know. Or we can shoot these hands though. Not scheduled, not according to plans, yo. Put you in the river where stands go. Money in envelopes where stamps go. So don't stand close. I pack toast while wearing camo. Famo. Been to Alabama, but on my knee, no banjo. Sound funny, right? Sunny tight, sun is right. Play-Doh in caves, dungeon light. Projection, protection.
Wordplay is pretty crazy.
Misdirected, statues erected of dudes elected. Representing, no reppin'. Sidestepping, political weapon. They vexing, corruption. I'm boiling, Vesuvius eruption. Erupted and fucked it, abruptly constructed. Prison for your mind, enough, kid. Wakey, wakey, no woke, but woke. Get up and soak in the words that I spoke. Metaphors are dope, hidden in smoke. Secret rivers of hope where Jesus broke loaves. 1/3, 2/4, whole holes, hold notes. Move forward, no cold toes. Hold those gold rows for soul shows. Wise and old nose, end, stop, close. What in the fuck? You can't deny the lyrical skill that this motherfucker right here has. I hear so many rappers out there with no fucking skill at all. Whack. It's the truth. Half of the shit that's in the top 10 right now is fucking garbage, bro.
I like the simplicity of that beat a lot. 100%. That was gas. That was actually a pleasure to listen to. Just like story wise and flow wise, to be honest with you. But let's talk about it. Let's break it down, and let's get some thoughts. So we're talking about three things here. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of the Hollows. So instrumental wise, I like the choice off rip, right? I feel like Pooh is like very very well versed in how they pick their beats, right? They kind of go for like these like real laid back yet like hard hitting modern hip hop sounds. But this one kind of has like a minimalistic approach to it, right? The drums are kind of chill, but it leaves enough room for him to kind of like do whatever he wants, writing and flow wise, to be honest with you. So I like the instrumental choice a lot. But the instrumental mix, again, fantastic. Nothing clashing too overbearing. I like the sound selection a lot. Vocals sit nice, drums cut through nicely. Nothing that really like put me off at all. Pretty much every track we've reacted to from Pooh has been like that, so not really a shocker, but you always want to point it out. So the instrumental mix, solid. Instrumental shining star. You know, I was kind of thinking about it as the song was playing because I really like the drums a lot, but as I'm listening to like the melody more and more, I'm like, you know, this melody kind of gives off this energy that the cover does. You know what I mean? Something about this melody here brings like some kind of like certain aura, almost like ethereal, kind of like nighttime, kind of like it has this feeling to it. So I think I'm gonna say melody. Like melody is definitely right up there for me, but I do like the drum selection and the sound selection for sure. Um, so instrumental Shining Star, definitely the melody. Drums are a close second. Let's talk vocals. The vocal mix is great. Pooh has a really solid natural voice, so it comes to really like a no shock that their mix doesn't have like a lot of like post processing. It just kind of has like your bare minimum, just to let their natural voice kind of take over and let that shine. But I wouldn't say it's like overly raw or anything like that. Definitely has a solid like super level mix, to be honest with you. So no gripes with the vocals. They sit nice. Everything cuts through nicely. Not too soft, not too loud. Right where they need to be. Um, Vocal Shining Star is kind of interesting here because right off rip, like after the first verse, I was gonna say writing, but then the second verse kicked in, and I was like, the flow and cadence is actually really fucking fire here. There's some like good like groove and rhythm here a lot, and the wordplay was really sick too. So I think I am gonna go with flow and cadence. I'm not gonna lie, especially in the second half. But the writing is definitely like right right below it, like no question. Because you're thinking of the punchlines, the wordplay, small bars, the more complex bars. Like there was a lot of cool stuff here for sure. So, flow and cadence and delivery first, and then writing and lyrics second, 100%, 100%. So, instrumental solid, definitely the melody, vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme and aesthetics. So, like who has this really good knack, and I don't know who does their cover art or if they do it or whatever else, but they have this really good knack with kind of like um having covers that really represent the track and like really give off the same energy that I feel like their track does. Because like I mentioned earlier, I definitely feel like the aesthetics like really nailed this. Especially when you think of the melody in this cover, it's just right there for sure. It's just right there, 100%. And plus, like titling the track "The Hollows" is it fills that like darker gap that the title brings. You know what I mean? So, definitely like solid choice when it comes down to art for sure. Overall theme, obviously a lyrical showcase, right? So I wouldn't say that there's like a written theme here. But I do think that Pooh did really well kind of playing into the not like darker side of the lyrics, but their lyrics were well, I guess like more importantly, the delivery was more like darker and aggressive and very much like firm and confident and like they stood their ground 100%. So I definitely feel like that there was some element of consistency throughout this, even though the writing wasn't exactly like, having a theme. But like they mentioned, a lyrical showcase definitely more about the writing skill and their lyrical talent for sure. So with that said, huge shout out to Pooh. Thank you so much for this submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you follow them on SoundCloud. They are 7 followers away from 80. Go show them some love, man. And of course, make sure you go follow Pooh on Twitter. They are 3 followers away from 520, a W milestone. Go show them some love on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel, man, because we're 10 subs away from 250. 250 is a crazy milestone. So if you haven't subbed, definitely go check us out and subscribe, man, because we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there. And so go show these artists in the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you. So, up next, we actually have a first-time submitting artist by the name of Lagos Noir. Groovy instrumental check from my latest EP. Okay, Lagos, I see you. My debut EP, Sonic Fusion, is out now. Chill music, contact. I'm your next podcast guest. Holy shit, that's an insane bio to read. Okay. That's a first. All right, let's see what we got here from the homie Lagos, first time submitting artist, man. So we don't know what to expect. We're gonna go in blind, sound wise, and see what Lagos has, man. So let's get into it. First time submitting artist, Lagos Noir. Celestial Rhapsody. Okay. I love this submission for a couple of reasons. Just because this reminds me of back when I first started producing. This definitely takes me back. So, definitely got some things to talk about here for sure. So obviously no vocals. We're going to talk about two things here. We're going to talk about the instrumental and we're going to talk about the overall theme of Celestial Rhapsody. So, let's talk instrumental. Right off rip, the mix is good though. The mix is definitely solid. Nothing clashing to overbearing. Everything's nice and level. Nothing that's like really cutting anything off or like kind of off-putting. It's definitely very level. It's a solid medium mix for sure. It's definitely right where it needs to be. 100%. So the mix is definitely there. But I did go and check when Lagos actually first released their first song, whether it be on Spotify or their others. So Spotify, the earliest is 2023, which, you know, is literally only last year. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this is a very new producer, right? I'm gonna go ahead and assume that, you know, they're just either new or just haven't been creating for that long, right? Because when it comes down to instrumentals, there's a couple of things here that um were very interesting for sure. Um, so right off rip, I definitely um want to say the Shining Star is probably the melody. I definitely feel like the celestial part came from the melody somewhat. I definitely see like the like space kind of astronomy somewhat like influence, right? I definitely get a little like space cantina kind of vibe there. So definitely the melody. But there was a few things here that I noticed like right off rip that a lot of producers do when they first start making music, right? And it's the structure. This track was almost 4 minutes long, and there wasn't much of a break, right? It was somewhat of the same melody and drums like throughout the whole track, which can get repetitive for new listeners and listeners that kind of enjoy instrumentals, right? So if someone spins on your instrumental project and they hear a 4 minute track of almost the same loop, they're gonna be like, "Bro, what the fuck?" But that's kind of like a common mistake. That's a mistake that I made. That's a mistake that new producers are going to make tomorrow. That's a mistake that everybody makes. Um, and the other part of if you are going to make 4 minute instrumentals, structure is even more important. Structure is less important if you have a 2 minute song, right? Because you can fill in the gaps a lot easier and it's not as long. But when it comes down to like a 4 minute track, you can kind of like blur the line and really like kind of end up being repetitive, and that's why structure is like very fucking important when it comes down to like instrumental tracks like on their own for sure. Because that's something that I had to learn for quite a while, right? Like when I started producing in 2017, that was something that um I learned right off rip, just because I would make instrumentals in the structure of somebody putting verses on them, but it wasn't really like for somebody. Then eventually, when I started like sending beats to people and things like that, the structure became easier. But as far as like purely instrumental tracks go, structure is everything, man. So that's definitely one thing I'd take back to the lab, and you'd be able to, start cooking up and be like, okay, like let's try to structure this a little bit differently and try to improve on the next couple of tracks because that's a very common thing. You know what I mean? You even see like a lot of like producers that have been doing this for a long time do that. So not really like a unheard of mistake, you know what I mean, and totally an easy fix. When it comes down to like making instrumentals, because you can even get yourself into some weird habits, you know what I mean. So um, that would be my only thing with that for sure. But definitely on the right track. So the more reps you get, and the more you kind of cook and really like put out music, you'll start to understand and especially when you listen to like artists that you're inspired by. So, say for instance you're inspired by like Clem's Casino, or you're inspired by, Grief, or you're inspired by Smoke a Sack, or any other like relevant, producer, you could kind of like listen to how they structure, you know what I mean, and try to go from there and try to like put your own spin on it. Um, so that's kind of like one thing that's like a very, very important. But, um, let's talk theme. So, instrumental solid, definitely the melody gives off that celestial vibe. Um, let's talk theme. So, aesthetics. This track is from the 6 song EP, Sonic Fusion. Now, don't know if this is some AI art or it's just some art that they had commissioned, or maybe it's some art they did it themselves. You know what I mean? Like so. But regardless, definitely EP worthy for sure. I definitely think project worthy. I like it's decent for a single, right? But I like it better for an EP. I definitely like this choice a lot for sure. especially for like the space kind of like the space like celestial kind of deal. I definitely think that kind of taps into that a little more. So aesthetics definitely on point. But overall theme for Celestial Rhapsody, I definitely think Lagos nailed it with the whole celestial kind of part. Like some of the sounds chosen in this are very like Cantina, Star Wars, like otherworld kind of underground bar feel. You know what I mean? So it kind of brings that effect to it. So I definitely think that they did a good job kind of structuring their tracks and themes around pretty much the same thing, right? It has this, you know, space atmosphere to it somewhat, you know what I mean? Like hold on, let's take a look at yeah, see the Orbiting Groove, Lagos Love, Chill Out Lounge. Yeah, it has this very like spatial kind of vibe to it. So well done. Well done. Theme's very on point. But with that said, huge shout out to Lagos. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify. And of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. There are 8 followers away from 560. Go show them some love, the bird at, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe. The Music Mondays YouTube channel, man. We're like 10 subs away from 250. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff available over there, man. So go show these artists and the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays, my friends. Let's fucking get it. So we left off with a first time submitting homie Lagos, and up next we got the homie Survival, aka Sin, Survival and Negativity. Brand new one just released the last day of December. Sin, City Boy, Prod the Homie, and mixed. Okay. Got a little collab up in this bitch. We love that. All right. So, Survival and Negativity, a very talented hip hop vocalist, submitted a brand new track, man. Dropped at the end of December. Let's get into it. 8 days ago. So, super new for sure. Let's get into it. Survival and Negativity, City Boy, Prod Fat Cop. That's good. That is good.
Yeah.
Fat Cop.
Wow.
Fat Cop.
Back up.
That's so funny.
Yo. East side of Baltimore was raised to walk on concrete. Summits in the bop, they say they can see it on me. The aura of a latchkey, lackadaisical loner roaming with no regard for the traffic when he crossed the street. I was nursed by the biggest of buildings, so I thought downtown was like the vertical version of Noah's Ark. Hadn't yet heard of New York and all its towering glory, preoccupied with the surrounding prowess that lie before me. Not for the faint of heart, noisy and annoying to the foreign. Every day is lost from joylessly toiling away. A coiling array of cliches. I guess I'll spare you all the details. What is there more to say? I just know that I was born here. I'll probably die here. Every now and then still need a break to keep my mind clear. Learned that from moving out to Randallstown my 9th year of grade school, where the place was too quiet for my ears. City boy, only favor God's country can do me is keep the radio reception far from me. Which is funny because I wasn't even that far, just far enough to take time adjusting. No horns beeping or neighbors beefing in the street to lullaby me to sleep. And as I lay, I pray the Lord of silence to keep. Fill the void at least with never-ending white noise or distortion to keep my mind poised. Can't you see? I'm a city boy, raised under city lights. All of my many days, many nights. That's right, yo, I'm a city boy. Dirty air, dirty water, healthy dose of both keeps it all in order. Right, I'm a city boy, city born, city raised. Wouldn't rather have it any other way. Say, I'm a city boy, nothing more, nothing less. Right, until the day I rest. Yes, traffic and static, drowning out the unheard. So we don't even bother trying to bleep out the cuss words. Absurd, let it rock till the planet stop. Or the city's paved into one big parking lot for the suburbs. We be out there too, getting on everyone's nerves. Blasting music no one's heard on repetition till you call the cops and you concur. Comprende? We don't mean you no harm, yo, come on over, bring a friend. Hey, now it's a party, all night the city folk supposed to sleep. The city don't, so mostly we just sit awoke and roam the streets. Inhaling secondhand gun smoke, exhale smog and all wind strolling past the cutthroats. We do our best to pay the rent and blocks of stars, but still makes the sky look pretty right before dark.
Damn, bruh.
The air is thick and the passenger's thin. Range from this is where I'm saying to escape with the wind. Me, I pray to one day replace terms like around the way with new phrases like I'm going into town today. Somewhere on a mountaintop, looking down at this serenity surrounding me. But till I found a way, I'm a city boy.
Damn, bro, that was a story.
That's right, yo, I'm a city boy.
Damn, man. I like that a lot. That was fucking fantastic. Okay. Much to talk about here. What the fuck? That was great. I relate to this one a lot, man. So let's talk about it. We're talking about three things here. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of City Boy. So, instrumental is great. I feel like Survival Negativity's instrumental choices as of lately, and usually overall, are like relatively solid, right? They know what they like in instrumentals, and they definitely know what they want certain visions to be like. So I definitely like this choice for sure. Nothing clashing too overbearing. I definitely think Fat Cop did a really good job with sound selection. Mel's are great, structure's great. No gripes whatsoever. Everything cuts through nicely. Vocals sit nice in the instrumental. Definitely no gripes. Instrumental Shining Star. I really like the melody, but the drums really kept up the groove here. Like, the rhythm because of the drums was really something else, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I definitely really liked the rhythm. Like, they weren't that crazy, but the sound selection of them are, like, really, like, on point for, like, what I think Survival was going for. So, for that reason, I'm definitely going to say the drums, but the melody was, like, a really close second for sure. Definitely the drum. So, instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, absolutely fantastic. But again, Survival Negativity is definitely an artist that's really kind of has always had like a relatively solid mix. Not really a shocker here, but again, vocals sit nice, everything cuts through nicely. Nothing that I really had a gripe with, to be honest with you. Like, and plus, like, Survival kind of has this like really like solid natural voice, so a lot of their post processing isn't too crazy. It's just a lot of cleanup and really making it sound like super crisp. So, definitely big on the mix. Definitely big on the mix for sure. Vocal Shining Star. This one's kind of hard because their hook here was like really fucking crazy. But the writing overall was, man, like, oh wait, this actually dropped on New Year's Eve. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, man, like, the hook is only one part of the writing. Like, I definitely feel like Sin did a really good job with the hook, but the writing overall throughout the whole track was just like a big W for me. Like, a really big W. So definitely the writing, just because it was so well written, and like it didn't really leave out a lot of like Sin's skill, right? Like, sometimes when people write certain like songs about like specific themes, they tend to leave out certain parts of, like, you know, sometimes they don't flow as well or they don't write as good. But I feel like you get all the elements of Sin here, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So writing for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely drums. Vocal solid, definitely the writing. Let's talk theme. So cover photo and edit by the homie Sin, and this is fucking fantastic because this reminds me of art that I usually like to do, especially when it comes down to like IRL photos, right, and just doing like slight edits to them. This one's super solid, man. Like, reminds me of the East Coast. Definitely has that like city kind of aspect, especially with like all the power lines and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because it's not like major city kind of vibes, but it has this like very much like urban landscape kind of vibe, you know, like neighborhood with like 50 of the same houses kind of deal, you know, like you'll see that on the East Coast a lot. So yeah, aesthetics on point, absolutely. Overall theme. So relatively obvious theme here, right? I definitely, you know, definitely don't need to dive into like what the actual theme is about, but um more specifically though, I think Sin did a really good job kind of describing what it's like growing up in kind of a more like urban landscape, cuz I get like big like city vibes here cuz like east side of Baltimore, right? So assuming Baltimore, Maryland, definitely like somewhat of like East Coast vibes, right? Like Maryland and like that whole area, and even like as more north you go, um it gets even more like super East Coast stereotype, you know what I mean? So I definitely think Sin did a really good job like describing everything here. Like I think my thing is with this is like I've always loved big cities, right? And Boston's like super close to me. So I've always really enjoyed bigger cities, but when it comes down to like going into like nature, the mountains, or going on hikes, or going down to like wherever, I definitely have like I like both. You know what I mean? Like a dirty city kid, but also like really likes to go down to like the river kind of shit. And I feel like Sin had this like, you know, I plan to one day replace terms like around the way with new phrases like I'm going into town today. So it's like this like dynamic of like loving like your city upbringing, but also kind of like recognizing that going out into like nature, or even like just having like this secluded area to yourself is always like really a blessing too. So I noticed this dynamic of like um talking about both here throughout the whole track, you know? So I think Sid did a really good job like describing like the city boy life, cuz like it's not really about like big cities like New York City or LA or fucking Phoenix or Boston. It's not like any of those. Like you live in you know like even like the description here, like East Baltimore, city born, city raised, and wouldn't have it any other way. Although sometimes it can be a bit much, and the older I get, the more I consider myself getting away from it all. Much love to Fat Cop for providing the soundscape that brought this. Yeah, exactly. Like, so like it's this like dynamic of like loving both ends, right? Because I love both. You know what I mean? I love like for me personally, like I don't think I could like live in the mountains or in the sticks permanently. Like a store being like 30 minutes away from me is like absolutely fucking insane. You know what I mean? And usually they have shit internet and this, that, and the third. So like I couldn't picture myself fully committing to living out in the sticks. I really couldn't. But I love it though. You know what I mean? Like I would love to have like a house or like a vacation house, or go on vacation out in the sticks and shit like that. I love that. But I think I'll always be attracted to like the city life and like just like bigger cities, you know what I mean? So I totally like understand the dynamic of like loving both, and I definitely relate to that a lot, like a real lot for sure. So, well done. I love this whole track. I love this theme. This is great. This is great. I feel like Sin did a really good job describing this, man. But with that said, huge shout out to Sin. Make sure you go follow them on SoundCloud. One follow away from 240, man. And of course, make sure you follow Sin on Twitter. They just hit 300. Congratulations. Let's go. What a fucking milestone, man. Go get Sin to 310, man. On the road to 400. Let's get it, baby. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 250 subscribers on the main channel. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff available over there, man. So go show these artists and the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you. Get it, baby. Fex, what's good? Welcome on in. Happy Monday, my friend. Welcome. So we left off with the homie Sin. And up next, we have the homie Smokin' Cola. It's been a couple weeks since we heard from Smokin' Cola, man. A very, very talented alternative vocalist submitted The Bridge. I believe this is the last track from my EP you haven't heard yet. You are probably right, my friend. You are probably right. So, let's pop this open a new tab and see what we got here, chap. The Bridge from the homie Smokin' Cola. I'm definitely down. Yeah, because we did Collide. I believe we did Face My Love. Little Mellow, I definitely remember. The Bridge is definitely like the last one we haven't heard yet for sure. Let's get into it. Smokin' Cola, The Bridge. Let's go. Banger intro. Mm-hmm. Very raw, I like it. Outro is crazy. Okay. That was really well constructed, man. I love the fucking style of this. Like, for some reason the style of this is what gets me. Like, I love how it's so raw and natural. Like, even like down to the melodies, like very raw, but it has this like crispiness to it, but it has enough like grit. It's so weird. It's like such a fine mix here. Reminds me so much of like some like really old like Midwest shit. Some really like Midwest indie, Midwest like alternative, Midwest emo, like that kind of area for sure. So that was fantastic. Let's break it down. So, we're talking about three things here. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of the bridge. This was kind of interesting. I'll be honest with you, as far as theme goes. But let's talk instrumental. So, instrumental's pretty bare bones. Smoke-A-Cola definitely went the minimalistic route, but I think it worked for them because a lot of the vocals picked up where the instrumental left off. But let's talk mix. So the mix is great. I love how like raw and natural sounding this melody is. I just think it just hit the perfect mark, man. Like, it's not too overbearing. It's not like too raw, right? It doesn't sound like it's recorded into a fucking phone, but it has this like raw, natural element to it that you can tell it's like played by a human. So that's what I love about this a lot. Has this like natural sound to it. But the mix is great though. Vocals sit nice, nothing clashing too overbearing, nothing like really getting in the way of anything at all. Nothing that really like struck me off whatsoever. The instrumental mix definitely solid. Instrumental Shining Star, absolutely the melody for sure. I love how it just sounds so fucking natural. It's not even a question. I love the melody for sure. Hmm. let's talk vocals. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody. As far as vocals go, the vocal mix again very natural, but it doesn't have that like recorded into a phone natural effect, right? It's definitely processed somewhat, but a lot of like the rawness and a lot of like the natural of Cola's voice is still there, which I think does this song like a lot of justice, 100%. So I'm really really big on that. Um, and they said nice, nothing's clashing too overbearing, nothing like really again like struck me as off or anything like that. I think Smoking Cola did a really good job with this. As far as the vocal mix goes, vocal shining star. Um, I like the writing. Writing's a close second, but for me, it's got to be the flow, delivery, and cadence. Um, just the overall vocal performance of this was really solid. Definitely feel like it was honest, raw, natural. It didn't feel forced. It felt very honest, but it had that like raw feel to it, but it's nice and crisp as well. So, um, definitely the flow delivery. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely the flow cadence. Let's talk theme. So much like a couple of artists we featured here on the show, Smoking Cola has had this interesting kind of theme for some of their cover arts, right? Relatively simple art, relatively like similar art, like even down to like the previous tracks that they were talking about. They're all somewhat similar, right? They all have this like gray, whitish background. They're all black and white. It has this consistency to it, which I like. I don't think you like need to be consistent with your art, right? I don't think it's like a detriment if you're not. Um, but for those of you that do this kind of like consistent art theme, I definitely think it's solid. Sure. Um, so obviously a song called The Bridge, naturally The Bridge. It kind of reminds me of those like those tests that like a psychiatrist or like a therapist would show you. The ones that like they're like, what does this look like to you? You know what I mean? And it's like a fucking butterfly or something like that, but then it's really like a car. Like that's what this reminds me of, 100%. Um, but either way, the concept's really. So aesthetics on point. Um, Overall theme, the bridge. This could be a metaphor for a couple things, right? Because I don't think like obviously the song isn't about a bridge, but the bridge could just be a metaphor for like crossing the bridge to like a new era of your life, a new era of your personal life, crossing the bridge to like a final decision, crossing the bridge to uh like just a new you. You know what I mean? Because when you do cross certain bridges in life, I definitely feel like a lot of things do change, much like when you cross a bridge IRL. You know what I mean? You cross the state lines, you're going over water. Crossing the bridge is a really great metaphor for a lot of the lyrical content in this song, no doubt. I think Smoking Cola did a good job kind of leaving enough room for the listener to kind of interpret the song the way that they want to, but at the same time, it definitely is a Smoking Cola song first for sure, which I like, because everybody makes their best art when they make music for themselves. So well done, my friend. So with that said, huge shout out to Smoking Cola. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They're approaching 1.1K on the bird app, my friends. Go show them some love over there. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-up. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 250 sub-earners on the main channel, man. We upload 2 times a week. Every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff over there. So go show the channel. And these are some love. If you already have, thank you. Appreciate you. But up next, we have a first-time submitting artist. And I'm very interested here. So, The Color Blue Jay. Mini movie for my new jazz hop alt rock track Life for the Dollar from my upcoming album Nights with Willie Piote. Holy shit. Okay, The Color Blue Jay, let's get into it. Funked up blend of R&B and rock. From busking the streets to owning my own studio. Okay. See what we got here. Life for the Dollar. So we have a visual for Life for the Dollar. Okay. First time submitting artist, The Color Blue Jay. Got here. We'll unmute that. get a little 720 action in here. We'll go full screen. Let's get into it. The Color Blue Jay, Life for the Dollar.
You see that museum over there? Want my name on it. It's a nice hospital. Put my name on it. The library, yeah. Give me some money. Put my name on it. I hold a mirror at society when they point their fingers and signs at me. Man, my face looks so ugly on those protester signs. I wish they'd gotten my good side. Far away in the black coal pits, they slave away to keep my bad habits flush with cash. I just drive away in the purple haze in my bulletproof car back to Malibu. I just drive away in the purple haze in my bulletproof car back to Malibu. With my soul full of money and my money paid in debt. The life for the dollar, the life is in pain. The life for the dollar, the life is in pain. A soul for the dollar, the soul is in pain. Peace for the dollar is genocide. It'll get you high while it's genocide. It'll get you high while it's genocide. It'll keep you high while it's genocide. It'll get you high cause it's genocide. The life for the dollar, the life is in pain. A soul for the dollar, the soul is in pain. Peace for the dollar, the peace is in pain. Peace for the dollar is genocide. Sunset on my mountainside, and I lay with my wife. I look at her and I tell her, you are nothing. She smiles and reaches over to me into my pocket and pulls out my gold and swallows it home and says, at least you've given me the child I've always wanted. I just drive away in the purple haze in my bulletproof car back to Malibu. I just drive away in the purple haze in my bulletproof car back to Malibu. I just drive away in the purple haze in my bulletproof car back to Malibu. The life for the dollar, the life is in pain. The life for the dollar, the life is in pain. A soul for the dollar, the soul is in pain. Peace for the dollar is genocide. It'll get you high while it's genocide. It'll get you high while it's genocide. It'll keep you high while it's genocide. It'll get you high cause it's genocide. The life for the dollar, the life is in pain. A soul for the dollar, the soul is in pain. Peace for the dollar, the peace is in pain. Peace for the dollar is genocide. It'll get you high while it's genocide. It'll get you high while it's genocide. It'll keep you high while it's genocide. It'll get you high cause it's genocide. The life for the dollar, the life is in pain. A soul for the dollar, the soul is in pain. Peace for the dollar, the peace is in pain. Peace for the dollar is genocide.
I love you.
That was very interesting. That was very interesting. That was I don't know what to make of that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like obviously I know what to make of it, but the visual was very like very interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, so let's recap here. Mini movie for my new jazz hop alt rock track, Life for the Dollar. Okay. So it seems that the Color Blue Jay kind of was going for a blend of styles here, which you can definitely see for sure. You can definitely see that. No question. But yeah, couple things to break down here. So we're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the video for Life for the Dollar. So, instrumental. I definitely feel like this was a solid blend of the genres mentioned, right? It has this like alt jazz, alt rock kind of blend, but definitely has like an alt hip hop element to it as well. So I definitely feel like this prod did a really good job, kind of getting the blends that they wanted to, right? I definitely feel like they nailed it when it comes to that aspect of it. Um, but as far as the instrumental mix goes, fantastic. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Vocals sit nice. Melodies are solid. Sound selection solid. Nothing that I really noticed throughout the instrumental that was kind of off. Definitely think this prod did a good job. Level, especially for a first time submission too. So instrumental mix W. Instrumental shining star. Probably the melody. I feel like the melody was like the lead here when it comes down to like pushing this like alt jazz, alt rock kind of sound, and the drums kind of like shape themselves. But I definitely feel like the melody was like right on point there for sure. Um, hmm. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Let's talk vocals here. Um, Vocal mix was solid as well. Definitely, 100%, especially for a first time artist. No gripes with the vocals. I definitely think Blue Jay has like a solid natural voice as well. So again, not too much like post processing going on here, but for what is there, it's cleaned up, it's crisp, it's level, sits nice in the instrumental. Definitely no gripes. As far as the vocal mix goes, no doubt. Um, Vocal shining star. Hmm. The writing's definitely up there. Mm, actually, I was gonna say flow and cadence, but now that I'm really thinking back on it, I do feel like the writing was like really meaningful without like forcing the like super seriousness of the song. I still feel like this is a laid back song, but the writing is pretty serious. So, definitely writing and lyrics, no doubt, for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody, vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Um, let's talk about the video. So, Life for the Dollar. As I'm listening to this track, I'm not only watching this, but I'm trying to figure out like what the correlation is to a lot of this. And I definitely feel like what Blue Jay was going for here was really representing money in all ways, right? And really like some symbolism for life for the dollar. So people are just slaves to money, and people are kind of doing a lot of like insane shit when money is there's a reason why they say money is the root of all evil, right? There's a very legit reason for that, and people do a lot of um horrific things in the name of money. And I definitely think this is a like simple visual to show that off. I believe most of this is like stock footage. I've seen like a couple of these clips before. Um, but as far as like real representation of like like why money is evil, quote unquotes, and why money like is very much like a root of many evils. I think Blue Jay did a good job kind of describing that here for sure, 100%. Because you see everything in here from like poverty to war to so much stuff. You know what I mean? Like literally so much stuff. So there's a really good element here, but also like the like partying privileged element as well, right? A lot of people not realizing how like privileged they are, or things like addiction too. You know what I mean? So I feel like the visual was like a good representation of what this song is truly about. You know what I mean? So really good theme, really good visual here, 100% for sure. So with that said, huge shout out to the color Blue Jay. Make sure you go sub to their channel, man. They're 4 subs away from 10. Go show them some love, man. And of course, make sure you follow Blue Jay on Twitter. They are 1 follower away from 670. I'll show them some love in the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 250 Suburonies on the main channel, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff available over there. So go show these artists and the motherfucking channel some love. And of course, if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays, my friends. But we are about halfway through the show, my friends. So with that said, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. I'm gonna need all you guys to get up, go get a drink, go for a smoke, go get a snack, go walk the dog, go do whatever you need to do. And when we return, we'll get right back into some community submissions. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you in 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Music Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Slays, and we're gonna hop right back into some community submissions here tonight. Let's get into it. So, let's see. We left off with a first-time submitting artist by the name of The Color Blue Jay. But up next we have another first-time submitting artist. Single digits or the single digits, reasons to rise above by the single digits. Thank you. Punk rock solo project, new album Saturday Night Fever, out now on all platforms. Okay. Reasons to rise above. Let's check it out. I'm definitely down. First time submitting artist, the single digits. We're going in blind. Let's see what we got. Okay.
Fight inside helps you stay alive when hope is lost. Rage and pain is what you embody. Realize, can't decide how much it costs. Don't look back is what life has taught me. You have strength, no mistake inside of you. Go the link, never break to see it through. Now's the time, make the climb to see the view. Razor's edge, least expect when to go beyond. Cause courage is hard and demanding. Falling out, scream and shout, mentally respond. Struggle hurts cause your heart's reprimanding. You have strength, no mistake inside of you. Go to the link, never break to see it through. Now's the time, make the climb to see the view.
Wow.
We can always see the hope. We can always hear the love. The message heard in every note. The reasons to rise above. See beyond the hurt and pain. See beyond the emptiness. Find a way to break the chain. Away from all the dissonance. We can always see the hope. We can always hear the love. The message heard in every note. The reasons to rise above. See beyond the hurt and pain. See beyond the emptiness. Find a way to break the chain. Away from all the dissonance. We can always see the hope. We can always hear the love. The message heard in every note. The reasons to rise above. See beyond the hurt and pain. See beyond the emptiness. Find a way to break the chain. Away from all the dissonance.
Okay. All right. Let's fucking get it. That was probably one of the more like well performed, more live tracks that I've heard in a while. That was really, really fantastic. Let's break this down. So we're gonna talk about three things here. We're talking about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of the track. So, let's talk instrumental. Mix is fucking fantastic, like absolutely fantastic, especially when it comes down to live instrumentals. many of you know that are artists, and if you're not an artist, they can be a bitch to really mix, depending on, you know, recording, how it's done, et cetera, right? Like, I really think that they can be fucking annoying, you know? But some tracks aren't like that, you know? Sometimes they give you a break, and it's, you know, it doesn't take long for the mix to, like, come to life. But sometimes on these more live tracks, or even tracks where there's just, like, a lot going on, I definitely think that they can be, like, really annoying to mix. So the fact that this mix is like as well rounded as it is really solid. Again, nothing clashing too overbearing. Vocals sit nice, talks really hard, things nice in front and center. Definitely no gripes with the instrumental mix at all. Instrumental shining star would probably be the structure. This is structured so well, like throughout the whole track. Like how long is it? This is 3:27. It's clocking in at, and the structure was fantastic. To be honest with you, always progressing, um, always slowing down. Like it's really hitting the drops when it needed to. Like I really think structure definitely shined here, without a doubt. So I'm big on structure. Um, so instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix is actually really solid, to be honest with you. Like really, really fucking solid. Um, Again, I feel like the single digits have like a really solid natural voice. So you have your regular processing here, but there's nothing like super crazy going on with it. It just sounds really crisp, really clean, nice and loud. Again, front and center. It's nice in the instrumental. Definitely no gripes with the vocals at all. Definitely not. Again, especially for like how intense these kinds of tracks can be, I do feel like sometimes vocal mixes can, you know, be a little bit tough. So, vocal mix solid, vocal shining star. Um, Probably delivery and the overall flow and cadence and the performance of this track was like fucking super solid. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, definitely the delivery and really how this song was performed was definitely a shining star. Um, I could see writing coming in as like a close second. Um, but definitely um definitely the overall performance and the delivery was like amazing here. So that's definitely what we're gonna go with, 100%. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Vocal solid, definitely the delivery. Let's talk theme. Get some spans in the chat. Let's get it, baby. The single digits. I mean, I think that this is their logo. No, yeah, okay. So kind of just came through with like a logo on the on almost all of their tracks. Holy moly. Um, they've been uploading for quite some time too, about a year or so. So yeah, no. It doesn't look like they went too crazy with cover art, but again, that's not something that I don't think is like a bad thing. I just think they went like relatively basic. So we kind of have like the profile picture logo here. Punk rock solo project, vision and mission to write songs with energy. W bio as well. So aesthetics on point for what it is, right? Definitely just like a logo aesthetic. It's nothing like insanely crazy, but definitely fits the bill if you don't want to go like uh super specific with art. For sure, definitely fits the frame, no doubt. So aesthetics on point. Overall theme. Reasons to rise above. I definitely feel like the single digits did a good job kind of keeping this vague, but also making it like an openly like motivational kind of song, right? I definitely don't think that there's like any like specific point to really take here. I feel like you could take this however you wanted to take it, and the single digits kind of, you know, put this out uh as like a simple track, right? But it's also like a very like broad kind of track. So you could rise above, you know, things in your personal life, things in overall life, things in the world, things in, you know, the environment, and you know, just so many things that you could really like quote unquote rise above and really use this song for. You know what I mean? Like this song could be a calling to like so many different things because it's definitely like motivational in that aspect. I definitely think it's motivational in that aspect for sure. So I definitely think the single digits like nailed that rise up kind of high energy that they're trying to achieve, no doubt. So with that said, a huge shout out to the single digits. Thank you so much for this, friend. Make sure you go follow them on SoundCloud. They're 2 followers away from 20. And of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They are 10 followers away from 400, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are approaching 250 Silveroonies on the main channel, so go show these artists some love. Go show the main channel some love. And like I said, we upload 2 times a week. Exclusive segments, full podcast episodes, all that good stuff's available over there. So go show these artists on the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you. So up next is a not first time submitting artist, because we just had like 3 in a row, but the return of Patterns, aka Lil Wet Wet, and they submitted a track titled Luke Glosswalker. So a little Star Wars reference going on here. I like that. Let's get into it. So Lil Wet Wet, a very, very talented alternative vocalist, submitted a brand new track, man. So let's see what we got. Let's take a pause here. Let's open this in a new tab. This is actually such an insane picture. That is so funny. That's like Patterns and Luke Skywalker in one. It definitely is. It definitely is, for sure. That's amazing. That is actually amazing. So 8 days ago, relatively new. Luke Glosswalker, produced by Cassie, cover art by Bedhead, mix and master box by Lil Wet Wet. And we got some love in the comments. Let's get it. Okay, let's go. Lil Wet Wet, Luke Glosswalker. Wow. Flow and cadence and delivery on that was like really fucking exceptional. If I'm being honest. Okay, let's break this one down. We're talking about three things here. Talk about the instrumental. Talk about vocals. Talk about the overall theme of The Lost Walk. So, hmm. Instrumental. Instrumental mix is fucking fantastic. Wow. Wow. So, produced by Cassie. Now, this is definitely a prod that we've heard Patterns work with before. But in this particular instrumental, there is quite a few different sounds here, and I definitely feel like they did a really good job making everything super cohesive, right? Nothing's clashing, nothing's like kind of taken over, nothing's like really out of place. So the instrumental mix is like super fucking solid. Not really a shocker, because Lil Wet Wet is definitely an artist that has a pretty consistent mix, right? Like very rare that you find a Wet Wet track that's like a little bit off-putting, right? But definitely not this one. So the instrumental mix solid. Instrumental Shining Star. Now this one's kind of hard too because I like a lot of the melodies here. I like the drums a lot, and I like the structure a lot. So, I kind of want to say structure just because the way it's structured out, like all the drops are perfect, and where it comes back in is perfect. Like, it's really like a pleasure to listen to on the first listen. You know what I mean? Because you're like excited for the structure, you're waiting for it to drop again, or you're not expecting a drop. So, structure for me is definitely on point. Definitely. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, fantastic. We have the Lil Wet Wet style of vocal mixing here. Um, processed in such a way that it's so fine and like still has this like element of like greatness to it, right? And the way that they're delivering vocals just makes like the vocals themselves like really clear and like really up to par, you know what I mean? Like this is a very like solid like electronic type mix, you know? It has a little bit of that like alt pop slash like digital element to it. And they've always had this element, but this mix in particular has like a crispiness to it that I think is very fucking solid. Really, really solid. But again, not really a shocker. Lil Wet Wet's an artist that has always had a really solid vocal mix, no question. So that's like relatively obvious, you know. But always got to point that out. Um, hmm. So, vocal Shining Star. The writing was really crazy on this. I like a lot of the subtle bars and punchlines and a lot of the smaller parts about the writing was really fucking solid. But I think what sold me here was the flow and cadence and delivery and the overall performance of this song was super fucking solid, man. It made for a really good mix. It made for like a passionate like track overall. You could hear a lot of like the emotion in Wet Wet's voice. It's a very it's a very like almost like it's almost like I can feel like Lil Wet Wet going towards like not like a new direction, but they're like starting to push their ceiling as an artist. And I felt like this one had a lot of flows and a lot of cadences and a lot of like deliveries that was just it was the usual that we'd hear from Lil Wet Wet, but it has a little bit of like this other element and energy to it. Feels fresh, it feels new somewhat. So delivery, flow and cadence, absolutely, no doubt. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Vocal solid, definitely the delivery, flow, cadence. Let's talk theme. So track is titled Luke Glosswalker, and we have some custom art here. Like, come on, like if you're gonna title a track this, you can't use anything but, you know what I mean? Like, if you hadn't had somebody draw this on hand, obviously like a Luke Skywalker kind of like theme would like be really cool, but you got Bedouin in here, kind of like, really just like come on, like Bedhead like absolutely killed this. Like, it's like cartoony enough, but it also has this like super like dark factor to it, like somewhat in like the lightsaber with like it being pointy, and like the black like a rectangle behind it, like has this like darker element to it a little bit, but it's still Luke Glosswalker, you know? So they definitely killed that. They definitely killed that. So aesthetics on point, overall theme. I wouldn't say that like the theme is directly like Luke Skywalker Star Wars kind of related. There's definitely some punchlines here, and a lot of the sounds in the instrumental like have this like almost futuristic space like Cosmo kind of feel to it. So I feel like there was like a couple elements to make, you know, Lil Wet Wet like lean towards a little bit more of this like Star Wars esque Luke Skywalker kind of deal, right? I definitely feel like there's a little bit of an influence there, but I wouldn't say that that's like the overall theme of the track. But I think Lil Wet Wet did a good job, like following that up, right? So having the custom art here, having the punchlines and things like that. But this is definitely like a very solid lyrical showcase. Like Lil Wet Wet is a very underrated lyricist. And I think definitely a lot of people need to start talking about that because we've heard a lot of like flows and cadences and a lot of bars here that are like, okay, you know what I mean? But Lil Wet Wet's always been a good writer. We know that here on Music Mondays, but people will soon come to find out for sure. So with that said, huge shout out to Patterns, aka Lil Wet Wet. Make sure you go follow them on SoundCloud. They're 50 away from 700, or 10 away from 660. And of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They are one follower away from 440. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 250 sub-roonings on the main channel, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, man. Every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there, man. So go show these artists and the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you. So, let's continue on, my friends. So, we left off with the homie Lil Wet Wet. And of course, up next, we have a first time submitting artist, Useless Dogs. Useless Dogs is a rock band. Listen to our new music here. Okay. The Useless Dog song, period. Songs That Die, 2020. So, first time submitting artist, Useless Dogs. Submitted a somewhat older track, I'm not going to lie. 4 years old now. So, let's see what we got here. This is from the project Dog Bless You. And track number 8, Songs That Die. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Useless Dogs, first time submitting artist, Songs That Die. Okay.
Singing songs that make me die, to see how low I can get by. And now you frown, and now you keep on singing songs that make me fly, to see how broken my wings are. And now you know, and now we know, maybe we all know that you, baby, I know it's you who's missing there. You, baby, I know, missing there.
This is comfy. Very comfy.
Singing songs in the grave. Whenever I thought I was it's not lying there. And now you frown, and now you keep on singing songs that burst in my face to let me know I'm back in a race. And now you know, and now we know, baby, we all know that you, baby, I know it's you who's missing there. You, baby, I know you're missing there. Think you dive and then you fly, you sing them high like in the sky. Then you must die. Well, singing all the songs, singing all the songs, singing all the songs that make me fly. Well, singing all the songs, singing all the songs, singing all the songs that make me die. Singing all the songs, singing all the songs, singing all the songs that make me die. Singing all the songs, singing all the songs, singing all the songs that make me die. Oh, baby, I know it's you.
Damn. Okay. Okay. That was one of the most comfortable songs of the night. And possibly the year, right? Because we're only 2 shows in, but this might take the cake, man. This was very comfortable to listen to. I like the laid back vibe of this a lot, and then it picks up at the end. You know what I mean? Like the structure is everything here. You know, sometimes you get weary when songs clock in at like 4:19, right? And you're like, "Holy fuck, is this about to be some like, you know, fucking like you just never know, you know, because sometimes people structure their songs in a way where it can get very repetitive. But this was one where I feel like they thought about the structure a lot. So well done, well done. And again, the song being from 2020, you never know what to expect, so that's why I don't pre-pop anything, right? I definitely just like give it the chance always, and that's why, you know what I mean? Because despite this, you know, being on its 4-year anniversary, this song clearly stood the test of time because this was fantastic. So let's break this down. We're gonna talk about 3 things. Talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals. Talk about the overall theme of Songs That Die. So, let's see here. Let's talk instrumental. So again, more of a live style of instrumental, and sometimes when you go with these live styles, it can be really tough to mix. You know what I mean? Especially when you add vocals into the equation, right? Because you can cook up a bunch of live instrumentals, and there might like it might not be as hard to mix, but when it comes down to um a lot of these live instrumentals with vocals on them, you know, there's a little bit of trouble sometimes, you know. But when it comes down to this instrumental, again, fantastic, no gripes whatsoever. Melodies were great, drums were great, sound selection was great, structure was fantastic. And actually, I had read their bio. They are from Madrid, Spain. So that's really cool. That's really really cool. We've definitely reacted to a couple of out of state groups and bands and things like that, and they've always been so fucking talented, man. They've always been so fucking talented. So it's no surprise. That's awesome. So instrumental mix extremely solid. Love it. Instrumental Shining Star, man, I love everything about the sound selection, right? I love the drums, love the melodies, but the thing that I love even more is the structure, right? Again, clocking in at 4.5. Like, this song could have been something like really, really different than what it was, but I feel like they did a really good job structuring this out, placing vocals right, placing drums right. I think they did a great job, to be honest with you. So, structure, absolutely. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. Fantastic. To be honest with you, like, now that I'm thinking back on it, like, nothing really, like, struck me as off or anything like that. They sit nice in the instrumental. Instrumental has its own space. Everything cuts through nicely. Definitely no gripes with the vocal mix at all. A very raw, natural voice there, so you don't really want to do too much processing to that. You really just want to, like, have it really, like, stay as is, but just clean it up a bit. You know what I mean? And I definitely think that's what they did for sure. Vocal shining star. I like the writing a lot, but I feel like the performance and the delivery, the flow, the cadence, everything about that was, like, really on point for me. Throughout the whole track too, like, not just, like, sort of like the first half, like, throughout the whole track, um, delivery, flow and cadence, and the overall performance was great. So definitely flow and cadence and delivery, sure. So instrumental solid, definitely the structure. Vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme. Aesthetics. Useless Dogs in the project is called Dog Bless You. So, I mean, realistically, you definitely see, like, where the inspiration came from, right? I like the simplicity of it. I like how they didn't go super crazy with it. I like how it's, like, very relaxed. You know what I mean? Useless songs for brave dogs. Dog bless you. Dogs. Yeah, no. I like the concept a lot, right? You have this, like, old school, like, dog food kind of feel, but it has this, like, somewhat of, like, an originality kind of feel to it as well. Yeah, no, I'm big on this. Project worthy, definitely. I like that for a project a lot, for sure. Overall theme, songs that die. Kind of an interesting theme across the whole project, right? I mean, like, a lot of the track titles aren't, like, very, like, dog centered, but they're very, like, you have Black Cat, you have Songs That Die. There's a couple of them that kind of, like, stay within the album, but I feel like they didn't really care too much about that, which is fine. I definitely don't think you need to, like, make whole projects, like, super consistent like that. But when it comes to Songs That Die, there's somewhat of, like, a play on words with, like, a lot of old sayings. Definitely feel like there's, like, a lot of, like, subliminals here when it comes down to, like, old dogs and things like that. There's a lot of, like, very interesting aspects about this song. But this song is definitely, like, an interesting metaphor for kind of, like, it's one of those tracks that's for useless dogs, right? But I feel like if you get a message out of it, then that's your message, right? I definitely don't think this track was, like, written with, like, a ultra theme in mind, because there are, like, a couple spin-off lyrics here or there that will kind of, like, lead you down, like, a different theme path, right? To really, like, assuming what the song is about. But I definitely feel like this is, like, a little bit more of, like, a subliminal track for useless dogs, and a listener just kind of makes what they make of it. And definitely more of, like, a sound and, like, lyrical showcase as well, right? I definitely feel like they went above and beyond to really structure this song out and really, like, as top notch as they could, man. Like, really. So, well done. That was a crazy first time submission. A really crazy first time submission. But with that said, make sure you follow Useless Dogs on Twitter and Spotify, and of course they're approaching 3.1K on Twitter. So definitely go show them some love over there on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 250 subscribers, my friends. We are 10 away, so make sure you go show the channel and these artists some motherfucking love. Let's get it, baby. So let's see here. Up next, we got the homie, Offspring Mysterious. Now, Offspring, we didn't get a chance to go through Offspring's submission last week. So, this week, we're going to slam it in for sure. Offspring Mysterious being a very talented producer, editor, creator, multi-talented. Like, if there's anybody you take multi-talents from in this show, it's definitely Offspring. 100% a artist of all trades, right? Self-edited, self-produced, self-filmed, curates their own content, very hardworking. But this week they submitted a edit titled Echoing Rush. So let's see what we got here from the homie Offspring Mysterious. I am absolutely down. Get a little pause in, get a little 1080 in, full volume, full screen, let's go. Dude. Oh shit. A little bit of stop motion? Wait, this is like a fucking music video. Holy shit. Oh my god. This is so fucking creative. What the fuck? Are we serious? Wait. That is one of the most creative Offspring Mysterious submissions we've gotten in a very, very long. Well, as far as like short form goes, because a lot of their like 10, 20, 30-minute edits are very creative, no doubt. But as far as like the short form content goes, right? Like the shorter like 2 to like 1 minute videos, this was like insane. They put an insane amount of effort in this. What? What? Okay, okay. We gotta talk about this. We absolutely have to talk about this. Let's check the description. Our lives have changed. Oh shit. No way. I love the backstory on these. I absolutely love the fucking backstory on these. Offspring did a really good job with the description. 100%. And of course you got your links and everything else relevant down below. But we're going to talk about two things here, like I said. We're going to talk about the instrumental, and we're going to talk about Echoing Rush. Because this is damn near a visual. For sure this is a visual. I'm, like, thoroughly impressed, man. Like, thoroughly fucking impressed. This is amazing. So, let's talk about it. Instrumental mix. Fantastic. No gripes with this at all. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Nothing that, like, really struck me as off or really, like, put me off at all. I definitely think this mix is like right where it needs to be. Nice and chill, not like super overbearing, but not like super lackluster either. I think Offspring did a really good job kind of pushing this mix. Sure. But they usually do, right? Offspring is definitely a producer that like has always done a really good job with a lot of their mixing, whether that be like older tracks or newer tracks or anything like that. You know what I mean? I definitely think they did a good job with this mix, no doubt. Instrumental Shining Star. Probably the drums. Drums kept up a lot of solid rhythm here. It was just a core of the song, right? I feel like the melody is definitely up there, but the drums kept up like a really solid rhythm. And I like the drum sound selection. So probably the drums for me. So instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Let's talk about this edit though. Let's talk about this edit right here. This might be a shorter Offspring video, but this might be one of the most editing intense videos that Offspring has done, right? Like I'm gonna go ahead and assume maybe they used two different programs for this, or the way that they edited the stop motion was probably much harder than like the raw footage, right? So I just want to give a shout out to Offspring for this editing because this is really fucking sick. This is not easy to do. Or if it was, you definitely like did a good job for sure, because stop motion is not easy, especially in like 2024, right? It's just not an easy concept, especially to like make it look cool and like efficient. I definitely think Offspring like really went above and beyond here to really like put out a new style of content. I fucking love this, especially at the top of the new year. Like I'm really excited for Offspring. Like they just keep coming up with content and ideas and fun stuff to do, and this is one of them, man. Like now they're pushing like visual territory. Like they could come out with official visuals for all their music videos, or no, I'm sorry, for other instrumentals with this type of editing. Like this makes me hyped for Offspring. Like the potential now is fucking unlimited because like the editing at the start was really impressive just on its own. But when we get to the stop motion, because these shots here are like all on beat, so I think that was sick. But when we get to the stop motion, it's like, holy shit, you know what I mean? It's like a whole new Offspring that we've never seen here on the show. This was fucking awesome, and echoing Rush Shining Star is 100% the editing. You went above and beyond for this, and I love that. I absolutely fucking love that. I think that this was fantastic. Literally, it was so cool. And I definitely want to see more of this because you could do so much with this for your tracks, and even more for like Walking Onslaught stuff. You know what I mean? So I like this, and this is something you should definitely push for, and keep your imagination open, right? Keep thinking outside the box because this is fucking impressive. This was definitely impressive. So with that said, huge shout out to Offspring Mysterious. You should go sub to Offspring's channel, man. They're 2 subs away from 140. And of course, make sure you go show Offspring Mysterious some love on Twitter. They're literally 10 follows away from 930. So go show them some love in the bird, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 250 subscribers on the main channel, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, man. Every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, those segments, a whole lot of good stuff's available over there. So go show these artists and the channel some love. Yeah, baby. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music. So, let's get it. Okay, so we left off with the homie Offspring Mysterious. Up next, we have Mojave Gray Worldwide. Follow Mojave Gray on Spotify. Edge of the Night Equilateral Remix. I feel like we have reacted to Mojave, but it's been quite a while. Or maybe they've submitted to us and we just didn't have time for it. Maybe we hit our time cap on the show. I'm not sure. I feel like they have submitted to us before, but we'll treat it like a first time artist just because it's been so long. But Mojave Gray, Edge of the Night, Equilateral Remix. Okay, we got some lyrics. Okay, so this was December 22nd, 2023. Eight minutes? Alright. Let's see what we got. Mojave Gray, Edge of the Night, Equilateral Remix. That's the thing with some of these tracks that are 8 minutes. The first minute is instrumental.
Listen for a whisper, you know you found the way. I'll see you in the moonlight, leave them all behind. Stars are there to guide us to treasures in our minds. Every time we believe in you and me, take a chance on a crazy dream.
Vocals are fantastic. Really good, like, rise, transition. Everything was really solid there. Structure is fucking insane. Like, actually insane. Holy shit. Wow. Um, so really well done, man. Like clocking in at 8:41, bro. It's very rare that we get a submission here on the show and the track is that long and the structure is that good. Like it's very rare that all those elements meet up. Um, this was quite the track. This was quite the motherfucking track. Equilateral did an insane job remixing this. Like this is the definition of a remix. And something I noticed as well, they kind of just reused the cover art for Edge of the Night, which I think is sick. Because if you're gonna do a remix of the song, you don't really want to like rebrand the song, right? But we'll we'll uh we'll uh, we'll talk about that in a bit. But let's break this one down, man, because this was a handful. This was definitely a handful. We're gonna talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of the track. So let's talk instrumental because holy shit. Equilateral remix, for one. But for two, the mix is fantastic. This is a 10 out of 10 mix. And we don't really do ratings here on the show, but this is like, you couldn't get this mix any better if you wanted to. 100%. Everything is right where it needs to be. Super level, super hard hitting, vocals sit nice, sound selection's perfect. Not one thing would I change about this mix. Not one. So yeah, mix is fantastic. Instrumental Shining Star, you know, clocking in at 8:41, I don't think there's anything else that we can call the Shining Star other than the structure. Like all the rises, the drops, the spacing of the vocals, man. The vocals weren't too repetitive. Like if you're gonna make a track this long, it has to have a good structure. It has to, and they achieved it. They achieved it without a doubt. Not even a question. Like the structure is fucking phenomenal, for sure. So the instrumental solid, definitely a structure. Let's talk vocals here. Fantastic vocals throughout the whole track, and I'm sure the original is fucking amazing too. Maybe we have reacted to the original, but it's been a while, so but again, vocal mix, fantastic, nothing clashing, too overbearing. They blend really well with this instrumental. Like really, really fucking well. So big fan of the vocals for sure. Again, no gripes at all. Like nothing I would change whatsoever. Vocals are fantastic. Vocal Shining Star. I love the writing, but I feel like the delivery and the flow and cadence was fantastic. It brings you back to that like, you know, like alt rock kind of era, but like it's more modern, it's more fresh, it's more meaningful with all the production around it. You know what I mean? So definitely the flow and cadence and delivery was like top notch on this for sure. Writing's a close second though. Writing's definitely close. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Vocal solid, definitely the delivery and flow and cadence. Let's talk theme. So, like I said, this got the reuse of the cover art treatment, which I really fucking like a lot. Like, if you're ever gonna do a remix of a track, don't go rebranding it, you know, because this keeps like listeners of that like, you know, overall like original track kind of stay, and anyone new listening to it is gonna like really like understand it. You know what I mean? So that's what's gonna be fantastic about this for sure. So yeah, I feel like they nailed the cover art 100%, no doubt. aesthetics on point, overall theme. I feel like the theme is definitely like embedded in the lyrics here a lot. It definitely has this like escape in the night without telling anybody, night drive kind of highway feel, but also just kind of like dreamlike and ethereal as well. It's very much like a personal, slightly romantic kind of track, right? Like I mean, like every time we believe in you and me, like it has these like personal emotional elements to it, but I wouldn't say it's like a consistent like uh love song. It has a good blend of late night like ethereal kind of loneliness aspects, but it also has that like personal aspect as well. So this is a great dynamic in songwriting, by the way. Like songwriting is fucking amazing, and it's like this is crazy. But well done. I like this remix a lot. Intimidating, right? When you see 841, it could be like a whole set. But I think they did like a really good job with pretty much everything here. To be honest with you, I wouldn't change a thing. So well done. Huge shout out to Mojave. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They're approaching 980 followers, literally one away. So go show them some love in the bird. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel. If you haven't already, approaching 250 subscribers on the main channel. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff's available on the channel. So go show these artists on the channel some love. Let's get it, baby. G, what's good? I hope you're well. Welcome on in. Happy Monday. What's up, bro? Let's get it, baby. So up next would be the homie Jordan, but Jordan is a Music Mondays Patreon, so we already reacted to their submission way earlier in the show. They were our first submission of the night, so make sure you go rewatch the rebroadcast and show Jordan some love. But up next, we got the homie Loudest, Loudest Official. And I don't think we've reacted to Loudest here on the show. I believe they've made SoundCloud Sunday or something of that nature. But we haven't seen too much of Loudest here on Music Monday, so I'm definitely excited. Electronic / deep house music. I like Das Techno. Got here. So, we'll pop this open in a new tab. And then give that a quick pause. Oh shit, I had no idea I was in today. Nice, let's get it, baby. Yeah, I believe you'll be the last one of the night, my friend. So, you definitely came through at the right time. See what I mean? Look at this. Look at this. See, this is what I was talking about earlier in the show about YouTube. This is fantastic. Loudest's channel is sitting at 13 subscribers, and this recent upload on January 1st, 2024 got 268 views. Make sure you're uploading on fucking YouTube, by the way. Go get your shit on YouTube, because come on. This is why this matters. This is why this fucking matters. Oh yeah, the FL Studio visualizer. I love that. I love that. So what the fuck? Why this only have 85 views? Let's go, man. Some love in the comments. Okay. Let's get into it. Loudest, I like Das Techno. Let's go. Drums are really solid. Mmm. Structure's really solid here. Hmm? Oh shit. Oh man. The switch up is kind of crazy. Outro is really solid too. Damn, man. Okay. Okay. You could kind of tell, right? Like, kind of tell like where the outro was about to be placed. You know, like you could kind of start to figure out the structure there, which I really liked about this. Wow. Okay. Okay. So, um, obviously no vocals. So we're gonna talk about two things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental and we're gonna talk about the visual for I Like Das Techno. So, hmm. Let's start instrumental. Obviously, instrumental mix, fantastic. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. I love the drum selection. Structure's great. Nothing kind of like threw me off, to be honest with you, especially with the longer track like this, clocking in at like 7+ minutes. I definitely didn't notice anything that was like a bit off for me or anything like that. Mix was fantastic, nice and level, and nice and well rounded, right where it needs to be for sure. Uh, so instrumental mix, fantastic. Instrumental Shining Star. Um, Giving out a lot of these tonight, but I'm gonna go ahead and say structure, man. I'm really gonna go ahead and say structure just because it doesn't have to be a crazy structure. You don't have to do all types of drops and this and that and switch ups and new melodies and this and that. The structure was perfect for both ends of this track, no doubt. Like perfect for both ends of this track and really kind of comes through for like uh one of those that kind of fills in every gap, right? Because this is like a montage music, this is background music, this is perfect for somebody that loves instrumentals and electronic and kind of like alternative electronic. Like that's what I love about this is there's a little something for everybody here, but the structure kind of makes it worthwhile. For sure the structure does. So mix is fantastic. Instrumental Shining Star is definitely a structure. Let's talk a little bit about this visual here because this visual was actually made in FL Studios Visualizer program, which I've definitely made a couple of visuals from this program, like here or there. I've definitely made a couple visuals, and this is a great program, right? Because if you don't want to go in and edit like a bunch of clips, and you don't want to go and learn a program, and if you use FL, I highly recommend using this a lot more just to make your tracks a little bit more attractive. I mean, you don't have to make a visual for every single song, right? But if you have a banger track that you think deserves a visual, there's a lot of easier ways to do this. And this is one of them. Definitely one of them. So I like the fact that the visual was actually added here. And Loudest really just let their proverbial electronic kind of techno house music art speak on this. There definitely wasn't like a clear, like, this song's about X, Y, or Z. This is one of those that, like, you could tell just Loudest really just like let loose and really let the music kind of take over here. You could tell because this is like perfect for even like a club or all sorts of things, man. Like this is a very like multi-purpose track. If you like electronic, techno, alternative house, things like that, you're gonna love this. If you love instrumentals in the background, you're gonna love this. Need montage music, you're gonna love this. It has that like it has that element to it that really is flexible. You know what I mean? Super, super flexible. So, well done to Loudest, man. Well done. Huge shout out to Loudest. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Make sure you go sub to the channel, man. They're literally they got 13 subs. Go get them to 20, man. 7 away. Go show Loudest some love. And of course, to add on to the social media thing here, like on my recommended feed here, it says new video, right? 12 views 50 minutes ago. Zuckerberg's secret doomsday bunker, probably. It's definitely some like indie horror like bullshit game, but like the fact that I'm even being recommended this with 12 views is interesting. So just to add on to that social media bit there, so make sure you get your videos on YouTube. But go sub to Loudest before you do that. 7 subs away from 20, and of course make sure you follow them on Twitter. They are 8 followers away from 50. Go show them some love on the bird at my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 250 Subarunis, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff over there, man. So go show these artists on the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you. Loudest said in chat, thank you so much for the inclusion and for the love. Let's fucking get it, baby. Thank you for your submission, my friend. Thank you. So, with that said, that concludes episode 155 of the Music Mondays podcast, man. Huge shout out to everybody that tuned in, showed love, submitted, came through, showed a little bit of love, all that good stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to close out the show. We're going to talk a little bit about what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. We're going to give some shout outs. We're going to talk about content, all that good stuff. So, like I said, and with that said, huge shout out to everybody that came through and showed motherfucking love. Literally everybody. Huge shout out to everybody that submitted. Pooh, Lagos, Sin, Smoking Cola, the Code Blue Jays, Single Digits, Lil Wet Wet, Useless Dogs, Offspring, Mojave, Jordan, Loudest, and everybody else, man. Thank you guys so much for your submissions. And huge shout out to everybody in chat, man. Everybody in chat who came through and showed love tonight, literally. Everyone from Loudest to Vec to Apple, Mark, Ree, Fex, G, and anybody else that came in and lurked and chilled and just kind of hung around. Thank you. We appreciate it, man. You guys are amazing. So yeah, with that said, what's coming up on Music Mondays over the course of next week? So we have a ton of special content dropping for you guys over this week because today's only Monday. So expect a lot of stuff to go up this week, written pieces, lots of really awesome January content, YouTube uploads. A couple of our monthly pieces will be going out as well. So of course, make sure you follow Music Mondays on all socials at All Music Mondays. Submissions for episode 156 of the Music Mondays podcast will be live tomorrow. So if you're interested in submitting for next week's episode, feel free to follow us on socials at All Music Mondays and especially Twitter. Get all the information on when submissions go live. And of course, SoundCloud Sunday. Submissions open Wednesday. So keep your eyes peeled for that as well if you're interested in submitting for SoundCloud Sunday. Because again, today's only Monday. So lots of really good stuff on the way, my friends. Really, really good stuff. So with that said, man, you'll see this episode go up on our YouTube channel this Saturday. You can listen to the audio version on Spotify this Thursday. And of course, submissions open for next week tomorrow. So, like I said, and with that said, make sure you follow us on all socials at All Music Mondays. You can stream Music Mondays podcast episodes everywhere, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow us on all socials, like I said, man. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we're there, man. So go show us some love. And of course, make sure you follow me at Tom Slays, and make sure you follow the channel because we are live like 6 days a week, bro. Come on, just come through, hang out for a little bit, you know. But like I said, and with that said, man, I love you guys. Take care, be safe, and we'll see you next week for episode 156 of the Music Mondays podcast. Stay tuned. I love you. Be safe, and we'll see you next time.